and welcome to the Zwift Race Place. I'm Cade Fravel, and today we're bringing you live coverage and commentary of the Sunday Crash, race number 2 by Rhino Racing. This should be a great race out there today. For any of you who don't know, chase race style race, meaning our Ds are released first, followed by our Cs, our Bs, and then our As. It appears that our audio levels are a little low right now, so I'm going to see if I can get that turned up. But, for now, maybe just crank the volume if you're having any issues with that. But anyway, I wanted to take a look at our elevation profile before we started today's race. And today's, course is going to be Dust in the Wind in Watopia here. So we're going to be finishing at the 19.2 kilometer mark. That's going to be 278 meters of elevation in total today. And you can see on the elevation profile that 19.2 kilometers should finish right around that little bump on the first descent out of the jungle. So that's the second descent shown on the elevation profile. You can see on the bottom there's a key right around 19.2 kilometers, so we should be finishing right about at the end of the bridge in the jungle. So that's what we're gonna be shooting for today. I know our race promoter, Gordon, he tried to get that distance exact. I'm not sure exactly how well it'll work out, but hopefully that works out pretty well. And I did mention in the chat, let me know which category you're racing in today if you are racing, and you're watching with us here. But, now, let's see, so the course description is gonna be, we're gonna start from the desert pens and proceed towards the Titan's Grove climb. Then after we pass over Titan's Grove, we head out along some of the outlying islands over to the jungle circuit. We descend from the top of the jungle and hopefully finish right around the jungle suspension bridge, as I mentioned earlier. And, so that's about all on the course for today. I think we'll see a sprint finish, when it comes down to it at the end. The riders should be moving fairly fast because they'll be coming off of that descent from the jungle. You know, you come to the top of the jungle there and you descend down into the jungle. So, it should be a pretty fast finish. Definitely a sprinter's course this week. But next week we're going to be on the Innsbruck Ring course, which gives a chance for the punchier riders to really break it up on the leg snapper. But that's next week. Hopefully we'll see you here next week for Innsbruck Ring. Anyway, it's time for some category predictions. First up, Cat D, because they're going to be the ones who are released first. Matthew Raymond is predicted in first, followed by Paul McDowell and Josh Diaz. These are predictions from the new Z-Race data website, by the way. You should check that out if you haven't already. I believe Shane Miller from GP Llama did a video on that, and there have been a couple of promotions on Facebook. So that's a great website to check out. It has predictions for all the races on Zwift Power, using only Zwift Power registered riders. And not only will it predict the top 5, it will also predict the sprinter, the breakaway, and the climber, which is helpful as well. Anyway, moving on to Cat C here. Danny Barber predicted first. Ian Rader predicted second. He's a Rhino rider with us today. And then Michael Tandy is predicted third. Another Rhino out here today. In Cat B, Andy Markham predicted in first. Randoner Transylvania is predicted second. And let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong in the chat. I believe it's a French name, which I'm not great at. So, if I'm butchering your name, just let me know. Another Rhino rider there. And then Nicholas Marino predicted third. Then finally, over in the Cat A's, Kyle at McKay Cycles. He's predicted first. So, Kyle predicted first in the Cat A's. Then Beckett Tooley and Miles Askew riding for WTRL predicted third. We're approaching the start of our D race now, and I'll switch over to the pens here. We are just about 2 minutes to go till the start of our D race. We're in with Dirk Nauman right now. He's one of our D riders out on course, but you can see Ian Radar right there as well. He'll be itching to go when the C's go off. And I'm going to check on the gaps for you right now. That's the gaps in between each category. So it looks like D's will be released first, C's following 5 minutes later, B's 8 minutes after the D's, so 3 minutes after the C's. And then the A's just a minute after the B's and 9 minutes after the D's. So it should be an exciting race across all categories. Hopefully we'll get some live data today. I know Zwift Power live data was down last week, and that's really helpful for me trying to watch gaps. But hopefully we get lucky this week. You just never know with the Zwift Power live data. I'm looking on the elevation profile here on Zwift Power. Looks like we're going to be finishing just after the suspension bridge in the jungle. So I think Gordon got that one pretty accurate. So shout out to him for getting that distance right, and also for this entire series. It's a great series. And yeah, I think this should be an exciting race here. About 45 seconds now until the start of the D race. Gonna grab a drink of water real quick before we get into the action. Alright, here we go. We are going to be looking for Matthew Raymond, Paul McDowell, and Josh Diaz in this front group, because those are our top 3 predicted riders in the D race. But right now we're starting with Dirk Nauman because I'm just interested to see how this start goes. All right, here we are, 3 seconds. Let's see, they're about to jump off the line, and here we go. Nauman kind of in the middle of this pack right now. Patrick Hopperanta, one of the Rhinos, he's going to be in the D's this week. I believe he was racing in the C's prior to this. You can let me know if I'm wrong about that in the chat. But Patrick Hopperanta will be a rider to watch out for. This is Chris Vance, one of our female riders, I believe. She's wearing the Rhino kit, which is the digital, no, not the Camo 1 jersey. So on the purple Tron there. Oh, speaking of bike choice, we will dip into the jungle for a little bit, but I'm not sure that we are in the jungle long enough to make a mountain bike worth it. So that'll be an interesting thing to watch for out there today. What bike choice is? Let me know in the chat what bike you're riding if you can. I know some of our categories are still yet to go off, so if you're waiting in the pens, just let me know which bike you're riding over in the chat. But anyway, it looks like we've got our first flyer, F. Bausa, and checking now for him over on Zwift Power because that's where we see the official results from, or the official riders, and I'm not seeing this rider off the front here. So looks like Bausa gonna be one of those riders we can kind of just disregard. He'll most likely be off the front for a little while if he's sandbagging here. Hopperanta now, right in the center of this pack. It's like there's a bit of a chase at the front. Espejo now trying to chase down Bausa. Leffler says, Rhino, can I join? Not sure what that means, but have to see. Here's F. Jean Sebastian. He is wearing the Rhino kit here, just checking Zwift Power for his name, and I don't see that here as well. So hopefully we can kind of sort out who's sandbagging here and who's actually in the race. Here's a Rhino. I'm pretty sure I saw him on Zwift Power. This is E-Park. Scanning Zwift Power here. I don't see him on Zwift Power. Him or her, I'm not sure. But I believe that this rider is most likely registered on Zwift Power if they're registered with the Rhino team. Chris Vance still in this front group. She's sitting right in the middle of this group here, conserving energy. I'd watch out for her later on in today's race as well. I think definitely the favorite for our women's D race. We'll have to see what kind of a sprint she has after today's 19.2K of riding. We're into the Titans Grove section now. Not quite on the KOM yet, I don't believe, but we are into this kind of rolling section, which is, you can see it's up to 7% when it gets steep and then negative 7% when you're on the way down. So it's really hard to keep a steady cadence and pace in here, I feel like. This is some of my least favorite riding on Zwift, just because it's a lot of accelerating to stay with the pack on the climb and then kind of drifting back in on the descent. It all depends on where you are. Positioning is important here because you don't want to get dropped off the back, and it is really easy, hard to stay together when you're on a section like this. See who's coming to the front now. Boxdale from Rhino, wearing the Belgian Zwifters kit there. PZR. Let's see, we are approaching 4 minutes now, and I believe our C's depart 5 minutes after the D's, so we're still waiting their start, but they should be starting in just over a minute now. Looks like there's been a little bit of a split. Boxdale making the split here. I also see Shaw and Shaw, two different Shaws here. William, I believe, and G, a Rhino there. He's on the back as well. And Boxdale now making an attack, 7% gradient, and he is off the front. Looking on Zwift Power here. By the way, we do not have live data today, which is unfortunate. It's going to make it tough to track those live gaps. But Boxdale not ranked exceptionally high on Zwift Power. We didn't see his name on the favorites list over on Z-Race data, but he's made a little break here, and Shaw has come with him, Espejo here as well, and William and G. Paparanta now on the back, but they have a second to McDowell and Raymond, two of our favorites. They were predicted 1 and 2 for today. McDowell and Raymond put on the back foot here. Let's see if we can get a bit of an overhead view. Hard to see the riders there, but here they are coming around this tree, and you can see it's all spread out. Long line of riders there. Bausa now on the front. He's been on the front for a little while now, because I believe he's one of our sandbagging riders, but there you have it. They're hitting 5% gradient right now, and it's really stringing things out. Back in here, William on the front, and it looks like Boxdale is falling back into the group. That was a nice effort there. Broke things up a little bit, but it's all coming back together now. We'll see if we can jump in with some of our C's out on course. See. Ian Radar from the Rhinos. Here we go. We are now in with the front group over in the C race. He's currently sitting in 16th place. Moving to the front, Michael Tandy. He is predicted 3rd place today, but I mentioned earlier in the chat, my money's on him for the win today. Gordon Sloan says Kim Homer for the win in the D's. Yeah, I had talked about her a little bit earlier, and I think that's definitely a possibility. She was the rider on the purple Tron bike in our front D pack, and I think she's still up there in that. Oh, I see CF just asked in the chat over here on Zwift, just in case anybody else is wondering, elevation total is 278 meters. So I see Gordon responded with 2 something. So hopefully when that gets to him, he can put that over in the chat. And actually, I could probably let them know. 278 meters. That's going to be our elevation for today. It's not a ton of elevation, but it's a decent amount for the distance. You can see we're just 1.5 kilometers in right now in the C race. They're, oh, sorry. Kim Homer is riding in the C race. I was mistaken there. I think I was referring to a different rider in the D race. But yeah, here's Kim Homer. This is the rider Gordon has predicted for the win. All right. They have now entered this Titans Grove section. It's going to start start with these rollers here. We just saw our D's do this but a few minutes ago. And it looks like, in terms of the riders at the front, I'm seeing Gordon Brost from the Rhinos. I've ridden with him a couple times. He's a captain of my ZRL team here on the Rhinos. E. Kruger, another fast Rhino at the front here. He's been blowing it up in the C race. He's been on the front, and I think we could see an interesting turnout from Kruger today. I believe he was predicted as the sprinter on Z Race data, so he's definitely got a chance on today's course. Brost, though, as well. Gordon Brost, this is a good course for him, too. And Michael Tandy. Those are the three riders at the front right now, and I'd say those are the three with possibly the best chance of winning out there. I know we have predicted Danny Barber and Ian Radar also predicted first and second. We'll see if... I'm not seeing either of them on the leaderboard right now. I think they're sitting in the middle of this group currently. I see Jay Bezos, Amazon. So, got Jeff Bezos riding with us today. Leffler now on the front. Got to check and see if Leffler is registered on Zwift Power here. And switching over to C's here. A lot of C riders registered today. No, I am not seeing Leffler on the Zwift Power list here. So I think that means Leffler's another flyer out there today. Sitting in second place now. Tandy back to the front. Barry Collins up here as well. He's a punchy rider. He could benefit from a couple of these shorter climbs. Give a ride on to Barry here. Barry's another rider I ride with in the ZRL. Iglesias Castro, I believe I did see his name on Zwift Power. He's now on the front. And it looks like we're splitting up a little here. Whoops. Looks like we're in the trees a little. But, moving out to the front of this course, you can see the riders fairly strung out. It's still a bit of a pack at the front here. But, couple stragglers off the back there. Kim Homer, I just saw that name tag pop up in the middle of the pack. So, she's still in this front group. I believe it's a purple Tron bike that Kim Homer's riding. Barry Collins still up here on the front with Price and Castro. Leffler up here as well. Kruger, Brost, Tandy, they're all staying towards the front, and I think those are the three riders we should be watching for the win today. In my opinion, I think those three are going to have a strong sprint when it comes down to the line. I mentioned Kruger was predicted as the sprinter. Oh, there we go. I just saw it. JB, also here on the leaderboard. He's another rider to watch out for. Radar as well, just coming back into the pack here. Hopefully, this all comes back together just after the top here. They've kind of hit the peak, and they're now starting their descent. All right, well, we're 6 minutes into the C race now, which means our B race is well underway. They should be about 3 minutes in now. I'm going to see if I can jump in with them. We'll see what they're up to. Oh, sorry, this is a C rider. Just checking our leaderboard here for B riders out on course. And in fact, our A's will also be out there as well. Here we are. Nicholas Goslin, he's at the front of the B pack, leading them out, along with Randoner's Transylvania. He's up here as well. Donkey Vanna Graham from the Rhinos. But it's Goslin on the front. Nicholas Goslin, a really strong rider. He upgraded to B, I believe, about 6 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe he was always a B. Oh, is that Moreno? There we go. That is Nicholas Moreno on the back here. He's coming back into this group. Moreno predicted third in the B race. Just to go over our predictions again. Andy Markham predicted first, and Randoner Transylvania, he is predicted second. CCF there, I believe that was the rider that asked about the elevation today. I'm gonna see if I can jump in with our A's. They should be a little farther back on course, but a smaller group than any of our other fields. Here we are, Kermit the Frog on the front. Kind of love saying that. Kyle at McKay Cycles, he's predicted first today, and he's already on the front here. Askew, that would be Miles Askew, I believe from WTRL. He is predicted third. And Beckett Tooley, I'm not seeing him, but he is predicted second. I'm looking through here for Tooley, and I'm not seeing him. But, back now with Kermit the Frog in the front. I don't think that Kermit is even registered on Zwift Power, but I kind of feel the need to hang out with him at the front here. Just because of his Zwift name. Anyway. Over to Kyle at McKay Cycles now. He's off the front just a little bit. He's got about a second to Askew. Askew is, of course, the rider. I guess we can move him up to being predicted second because it looks like Beckett Tooley was a no-show. Great view of the scenery here in the Titans Grove. Really shows you how skilled the Zwift graphics team are. And in fact, they just rolled out with a new map. I believe it's Umezi. Based off of a Japanese landscape, I believe. I haven't gotten a chance to ride in Umezi yet, but I think it's pretty cool from what I've seen. All right, I'm getting a notification here about an audio issue, so let me check on that for you. All right, I believe that we are all good here. I'm not sure what's happening there. Anyway, looks like our A's still staying together in this front pack here. I'm gonna move back up with the B's, see what's happening up here, and then from there, I think we're gonna try and jump in with our D's, because we haven't checked in with them in quite a while. But stopping off with the B's here, it looks like there's been a split in the pack. Randoners Transylvania has made that split. S. Bang, Madsen, Wilkin, and R131 are the riders who have made the split. Randoner is the only rider I know who is registered on Zwift Power from this group, but there may be a couple more. Gordon just let me know in the chat that audio is good, so that must just be a YouTube glitch. Looking for that rider who is up here in this front B group. That would be Bang Madsen from DZR, and I'm not seeing his name on Zwift Power. So I'm thinking maybe Reddener is the only rider who has made this front split. And if they can hold off the chasers, this would be definitely an interesting development. It's now 2 seconds back to the chasing riders. And speaking of Gordon, looks like he's getting passed by our B pack right now. So, nice job, Gordon. Couple of WKG riders there. See an arrow power up. Anyway, moving on towards the front of our race today with our Ds. We'll stop through in the C pack here for a minute. Tandy, JB, Barry, and moving through to the front now. Looks like it's gonna be Boxdale on the front here from the Rhinos, and William NG also up here as well from Rhino. That's a bit of an odd angle, but seemed to cancel out the trees. Anyway, Patrick Caparanta, I'm seeing him at just 7 seconds back. Looks like he's in a chase group with Jean-Sebastian and John Paul. John Paul rode with Lee Welch almost to the finish last week on the Hilly KOM, and Lee ended up dropping him just before the finish to take the win in our D race. But John Paul now stuck in the chase group today. So it's Boxdale, the rider we're going to be watching for the win. I'm checking now, but I don't believe any of these other riders are registered on Zwift Power. We have Espejo, Taylor, Bausa, checking for them. I'm not seeing any of those names. Oh, Gregory Folds, he is registered on Zwift Power, and I believe Folds is up here as well. And William NG was the other rider I had mentioned in this front group. So the 3 registered on Zwift Power from the front here are going to be Boxdale, Folds, and NG. Interesting view of the water there. They're just heading over this bridge. Now, come to the intersection here. These are some of the outlying islands I talked about earlier. This section, relatively flat, and I'd go so far as to say even a bit boring. The real excitement is going to come once we start to get close to the jungle. And unfortunately, I don't have any category gaps today. I mentioned that earlier because of the fact that Zwift Power Live is down. But we should still be able to see when one category catches another. So for now, our Ds are leading. Our Cs, it looks like, although they are showing ahead of the Ds on the leaderboard, are still back in the jungle here. And moving up to the front of the C race, Iglesias, Castro on the front, Price, Tandy. Michael Tandy has made that split. I believe that Gordon Brost, I saw him farther back. Barry Collins up here as well. Looking for Kruger now. I do not see Kruger on the leaderboard. That other Rhino jersey is going to be Barry. So it looks like Barry Collins and Michael Tandy, the only 2 remaining favorites in this front group. I'm looking for other names here in our favorites list. I'm not seeing Danny Barber up here. Jimbo from TFC, I see his name. Jimbo, a good sprinter. Well, actually, a great sprinter. I was going to say a good rider and a great sprinter. So he'll have a good chance out there today. I've covered quite a few races with Jimbo, and it's starting with the Mad Monday race series back in December, I believe. And then the Veganuary race series where Jimbo was still a D. And he performed very well in both of those series. Looks like he's upgraded to C now, so congrats on the upgrade. I know, I think that happened a while ago, actually. But anyway, moral of the story is Jimbo is a great sprinter and definitely one we want to be watching. Iglesias Castro checking on Zwift Power for his name now. I'm not sure if he's registered or not. Yep, Javier Iglesias Castro riding for Team Italy. He is unfortunately sandbagging. He is a registered B rider, so Castro will unfortunately not count in today's result. Fortunately for him, that is. Hupes checking for his name as well here. And not see that on here anywhere. So I believe this is another rider in disregard. There they go. They're out onto the pavement now. Looks like we just saw our D's here not that long ago, and I don't see Kruger in this front group. Dirk Nauman, he was our one of our favorites in the Cat D race, I thought. Oh no, this was the rider we started with a little while ago. Here we are though, back to the front of the D race. Bausa on the front here. He's not registered on Zwift Power. Taylor not either, but William NG is, and it's him, Boxdale, and Gregory Falds I mentioned before. Those 3 are our Zwift Power registered riders. Patrick Hopperanta in the chase group behind, along with a couple other riders. John Paul back there as well. Looks like they're now 21 seconds back, so I'd say the win in the D race will go to one of those 3 riders I just mentioned here. Bausa now off the front. We can forget about him. He is not important. Heading back, we'll see if we can jump in with one of our other categories. This is Abdullah Al-Saraf. And it looks like, alright, so that's towards the back of our B group. Here we are with Kyle at K Cycles. He is leading out our A race right now, along with Kermit the Frog. Trzynski, I believe that says. That's a Polish name, so let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And it looks like Kyle's at McKay Cycles is our favorite for today, and he appears to be doing pretty well. That's quite a gap from our A's to our B's, I think. I'm going to try and move up through the leaderboard. Here we are with R131. I believe this is our front B group. All right. First place. Here we are with the front Bs. They're just about to catch a dropped group of C riders out on course. Randoner's still in this front group, and I'm scanning the leaderboard for Nicholas Goslin, but I'm not seeing his name. I believe he's still up here. I'd be surprised if he got dropped. Oh, it looks like Goslin. Oh, Nicholas Goslin, 43 seconds off the back. So he's got some chasing to do. I think that gap's probably unclosable at this point. Freddie Fernandez, he looks to be 58 seconds ahead. I believe this is one of the chase groups in the C race. Just waiting for that confirmation. Yeah, here we go. Solomonson from TT1D, he is back here as well. Jay Tandy. Kim Homer, looks like she's also been dropped. I think that was Gordon Sloan's favorite for today. Gordon Brost riding with Eric Kruger back here. They're 11th and 12th place. Ian Radar just sitting in 13th with JB. That's Jonathan Bishop in 14th. So that's our group of drop C riders there. And our leading C group now, making some headway on the lead Ds. Iglesias Castro still leading on the front. Moving up to the front of the D race here. Here we are with Boxdale from the Rhinos, Espejo and William NG on his wheel. NG, a second off now. That could be trouble. Oh, and Gregory Fouds. 11 seconds to the rest of the pack. He has broken away on this climb. This is a major development in the D race. Moving to a bit of an overhead view here. Bausa 9 seconds back, now 10 seconds, and Boxdale, the next Zwift Power registered rider. He is 14 seconds back, 16 to William NG. Gregory Fouds making a big breakaway here. And our C's are going to be chasing. See if we can drop the HUD for a minute here. And this is a nice view from the top. They're going to come over this bridge. This is kind of the last major climb before the jungle route and gives us just enough time to take a quick break. I will be back in a minute, leave you with the pictures here. All right, and we are back with the race. Looks like Gregory Fouds has maintained this gap. We're going to bring the HUD back here for a minute. And it looks like he now has 24 seconds to Boxdale from the Rhinos. I did not expect to see a breakaway on this course. You heard me predict earlier that this was going to be a sprinter's course. And in fact, that is not the way it has turned out. It's going to be tough for them to chase it back down. Boxdale and NG are going to need to start working together with Espejo and possibly Taylor if they can catch him to start bringing back Gregory Fouds. If any of them wants a chance at the win, regardless of Zwift Power registered rider or not at this point. Although it looks like NG, he's fallen off Boxdale's wheel. So right now, it's up in the air for second place, but Gregory Fouds looks like he's a shoe-in for first. He's got a little bit longer at this 3% gradient, and he will have the advantage on the climb here because he's pushing pretty hard right now. But once they hit the downhill, that's when it really starts to get tough because the pack behind might have a slight advantage over him, depending on if they end up coming back together or not. But 37 seconds now, this is a good gap to take into the finish. And I should mention, our D riders still have a good gap on the C's as well. Looking on the mini map here, it looks like our lead C's are just now coming across the beginning of the bridge. Fould's quite a ways ahead of them. He's just about to start the descent off, well, not just about, but coming to the top of this little climb here before he starts the descent down into the jungle. So you can now see our lead C's on the leaderboard. They're a minute and 12 seconds back from Gregory Fouds. And I'm just noticing now that he does not have any heart rate data. I don't know what that means for whether how he counts in the standings. If he wants to, if Gordon wants to let us know in the chat what he thinks about that, then you can go ahead and weigh in. But I'm not sure what no heart rate data would mean. And Gordon's saying now that the B's are near the C's. I'm just looking on the mini map right now, over on the Zwift Companion app, and it looks like the B's have also just reached the top of that climb, with the C's just starting, or just coming off the bridge. So the gap from B to C probably also around, possibly under a minute. So we'll have to watch for that as well. We can see the gap from the C's to the D's starting to come down now. Price and Iglesias chasing hard, and it all depends on whether or not Gregory Fouds will be counted without heart rate data. All right, there we go. Gordon confirming in the chat he will be DQ'd. So, I guess that means it's back to Boxdale here, and he is only 10 seconds now off of the chasers. William NG is with him, so it looks like our D's are about to be caught. Gregory Fouds will be disqualified, unfortunately. I don't believe any of these other riders up here count on Zwift Power. Alright, looks like our C's are coming up fast. Now only 4 seconds. Iglesias Castro pushing on the front. He is a B rider, so he won't count. Price, not registered on Zwift Power, so he won't count. Siha, I'm not sure about. Lemire, also not sure, but I believe Barry Collins is the first Zwift Power registered rider that I'm positive about. He's just 1 second off of our D's now, and I'm gonna check for some of those other names over on Zwift Power. Alright, looking over here now. And it does not look like any of those riders were registered on Zwift Power, unfortunately. So I believe Barry Collins is currently our first placed Zwift Power registered rider. He's just on the back of this group here, and I think if he can stick with them, he's guaranteed the win. Because Iglesias Castro is the only other Zwift Power registered rider I'm seeing, and he's a B, so he'll be disqualified. So Barry Collins now, he's going to be the rider going for the win. He's got to stay on the back of this group, though, or else Krautzer is 23 seconds behind, might have a shot. But I think we're probably okay here. I think Barry Collins has got a good shot at today's win. Hovering back and forth between a super tuck there. Looks like he's just at 53 kilometers per hour, so just under the threshold for a super tuck. This means our C's have now taken to the front of the race, but the B's are not far behind. Checking now on the mini-map, it looks like they're about to pass over the top of this climb and start their descent. And looking for the A's, looking out for the A group on the mini-map. I'm not seeing them quite yet. Gotta look a little closer. Here we are. It looks like our A's are... they're not too far behind the B's. Looks like our A's have made progress on the B's as well. So we'll jump back with all that in just a minute. after the finish to our C race, depending on whether or not the bees do end up catching them. It is a bit of a descent, which I think cuts down on the bees' advantage a little. It'll be harder to chase down on a descent here where there's a solid C-pack towing Barry Collins to the finish. All right. We're coming to the end of this little descent section. I believe we're going to take a left and head towards the bridge now. Gordon Sloan says that Gregory Faulds can appeal if he wants, if they use heart rate monitor. So if it was just a technical issue, it looks like Gregory could be allowed to take the win, but it just depends. I believe he will be caught as well before the finish. Faulds now only 29 seconds up on Barry Collins and the Chasers here. All right, they've taken that left-hand turn. It flattens out for a little while here, but it starts to go down. Well, really not until after the Jungle Bridge. So they'll be on this flatter section for a little while here. I don't believe it gets up above 3 or 4%. We can see the bridge on the elevation map. That's going to be that little dip on the elevation map in the upper right-hand corner of your screen up there in the minimap. And Barry Collins has now been dropped off the back. It looks like, believe all these riders, none of these riders are registered on Zwift Power. Just looking right now, one last time. Oh, Gordon says, I might not see the banner because I'm fan viewing, and I think that's probably true. We can watch the elapsed distance, though, to see when that hits 19.2K, because I do know we will finish at 19.2K. All right, looking on the leaderboard, I'm pretty sure that Collins has the win here. 19 kilometers right now. Dropping an arrow power up. He's just coming to the top of the bridge now, 6%. Our other C's have managed to get away. It is 19.2K here. He should finish any minute now. Barry Collins for the win in your C race. See. I'm not sure exactly where the finish banner is because I am fan viewing, as Gordon mentioned. Now 19.3K, I think it's safe to say he's finished. Heading back now. Here's E. Kruger, but R131, this is our leading B rider right now. I don't believe he's Zwift Power registered, but I do know that Moreno is registered on Zwift Power. Looks like our B's might be the second group to finish up here. No, it looks like the D's, Boxdale, just took the win in the D race. So win for Boxdale. Heading back with the B's now, though. So currently the standings go C's, then D's, and now it looks like the B's are about to come in. They're heading down the bridge here. It's going to be between Moreno and a couple of these other riders. I'm not sure if they are registered on Zwift Power or not. Kruger putting in a little sprint here. That won't make a difference in the B race, though. Back with the B's. Moreno now launching his sprint. They will be able to see where the finish line is. I cannot. And it looks like Moreno. It's really hard to call when I can't see this finish line. Looks like he took third. Wilkins is the only other rider I think that could have contested that. The only other Zwift Power registered rider. So heading back now, looking for A's in the leaderboard. Here we are with Truskinski. I'm going to check in on Zwift Power really quickly. Should be able to see if he's Zwift Power registered. And quick check. Nope, he is not on Zwift Power. But it looks like Kermit the Frog already launching a sprint here. Yep, I mentioned that earlier. Gordon just confirmed flat next week, Innsbruck Ring. There is that one climb, though, that provides a chance for the climbers to break it up a little. Punchier riders. Alright, so Kyle at McKay Cycles, he's going to be our first Zwift Power registered rider over the line for the A's. So standings are going to go C's, then D's, then we're looking at the B's, and our A's have not quite yet finished, but they're right here. So alright, Kyle is just coming up on the finish line now, roughly. I can't see the finish line, but there we go. Kyle McKay just finished. Kyle at McKay Cycles just finished up. Now we just have to wait on the official results confirmed from Zwift Power. Gordon just said flick back. I think he was just talking about when we were watching one of our riders finishing up. Now looking over to Zwift Power for the official results. And it does not look like, because we don't have any live data, we're not going to be able to get any of those official results until probably half an hour at least, until after the end of the race. Oh, Nicholas Goslin just confirmed for me. Finish is just after the left turn out of the grid. That's actually really helpful. Thank you. I think I just saw that a minute too late though. So anyway, I don't think we're gonna have finish results yet, because usually I can get that from the live data, but that doesn't appear to be up and running on Zwift Power currently. So before you go today, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the Zwift Race Place if you haven't already for more live race coverage, community coaching tips, and general Zwift videos. We will hopefully be back next week for a live commentary on the Innsbruck Ring course, and we've got a video about tips for racing in no HUD mode coming up in just a couple days. So thanks for watching with us, everybody. Hope you enjoyed, and